Hi everybody, welcome back once again to the Eastfield Gunroom YouTube channel with me, your host Matthew Morgan. We are out in the glorious sunshine at the fantastic Oakedge Shooting Ground once more today. Today we are going to be putting a pair of Zolis through the paces. We've been very kindly sent them from Edgar Brothers, who are the UK importers. Not only that, they are mid-ribs, which I've never ever shot in a Zoli, so that'll be quite interesting to see. Before we get into that, if you do enjoy the videos, do hit like, do hit subscribe, because we do appreciate your support. Don't forget to check out the website, and if you haven't been down to Oakedge Shooting Ground already, what are you waiting for? So what guns are we going to show you today? We have got a Zoli Kronos and we've also got a Zoli Z Sport. Both of them are 29.5-inch barrels, and both of them are the MR mid-rib specification, which is going to be quite interesting because it's been a long time since I've shot a mid-rib. Oakedge, obviously predominantly a sporting ground, so we're going to try both these guns out on some targets, see what they perform like, but more importantly, we're then going to discuss in greater detail why Zoli is, I believe, one of the most up-and-coming brands here in the UK at the moment. So we're going to start with the Kronos MR. I've already got the shot cam fitted, which has absolutely eclipsed my technical expertise already by putting that on with an Allen key. So let's get in the stand and let's see what this can do. So we've shot a few nice stands with the Kronos M Sport, the mid-rib. Really enjoyed it. It took a little bit of getting used to because, of course, you know, there's always the danger you overcompensate and try and shoot the mid-rib as a high rib, but you just need to see the target, pull the trigger. Very smooth to shoot, very low on recoil. 29.5-inch, quite interesting because, you know, sometimes it feels like it's going to be too whippy and you're going to push it too far through the target. Didn't find that at all. It's got a nice bit of weight, obviously with it being a steel rib. Now, bear in mind, this is Zoli's kind of entry-level gun. I'm quite excited to have a go with the Z Sport because that's their premium product. That's the one that's more focused on competition shooters. So let's give that a go. So that was the 29.5-inch Z Sport with the mid-rib, the MR. Completely different in terms of shooting to the Kronos, which is surprising really because they are kind of built on the same mandrels. Nice to shoot, very smooth, easy to control, and I'll have to say the trigger pulls are noticeably better, which you kind of expect with a more premium product. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about Zoli in general and why I think they are the brand to get behind in 2026. So we've been out and we've had a go with both the Kronos M Sport and of course the Z M Sport, both mid-rib, both 29.5-inch, and to be honest with you, they're almost identical in terms of the specification. Now, what I did find is I found I probably shot the Kronos slightly better because I set the comb up, I believe, in a slightly better way. And what I was doing with the Z is I was probably compensating a little bit more for the actual mid-rib, whereas I should have just been looking at the target. So even though I shot slightly better with the Kronos, I want to start with the Z because there's a lot of features of this gun that people are perhaps not aware of now. Zoli, to a number of people, is kind of one of those brands from the 80s where everybody was chucking out guns of, let's say, not the best quality. Now, what's happened over the last probably 10 or 15 years is Zoli's been taken over here in the UK by Edgar Brothers, and because of their level of marketing, their dedication and their commitment to the brand, and of course the quality, this gun is now going from strength to strength. To give you a little bit of idea of perspective, Bethany Norton, who's 19 years of age, has just won a gold medal with one of these guns at Olympic Skeet. Ben Llewellyn, another Olympian who chooses Zoli, and more people are starting to understand the ethos of what is a fantastic family Italian shotgun brand. So like I said, the Z Sport was launched I think about 2014, 2015, and it's just gone from strength to strength. Now, where we are today, we have got a gun that is available in so many different permutations. For me, they're kind of at the point now whereby they can offer something in terms of a custom or a bespoke product that no other manufacturer can offer. Now, I say that having come off the back of the realization that Beretta, for example, although the DT11 is a hugely successful gun, are no longer offering the custom bespoke service that they once were at the same level. Whereas you go to Zoli, they will do whatever you want to the nth degree. There are a number of different finishes. We've got barrel lengths from sort of 28 to 34 inch. Different finishes in terms of the bluing, different ribs, different weight barrels, right down to like little bits of gold embellishments on the barrels, which other manufacturers simply don't do. Now, you probably argue that the likes of Rizzini maybe do it, but for me, Rizzini don't have a gun that can compete at this level. So this gun we've got here is the 29.5 inch mid-rib. We spoke before about mid-ribs on the channel, and they sort of, high ribs, mid-ribs kind of come and go. Now, at the minute, mid-ribs are without a doubt popular. You've got the likes of the Guarini Ascent, you've got the Blaser Vantage, you've got this, and being able to have one of these in kind of any possible specification, particularly in terms of barrel length, it's a brand that you've just got to take note of, because the only other option to have such a level of customization is Perazzi, and these aren't Perazzi money. Go to the States, hugely popular in the States, won an awful lot of things, so there's no question that Zoli have got this gun right. Now, in terms of features, we have got a low profile Boss style action. This particular one is black. They do something called silver sand, which sounds like where the Samyad lives. They also do a case colour harden option. There are hand engraved versions. Whatever you desire, you can have. So this is the base model. So we've got the hot blued finish with the Z on the side, a little bit of border engraving. It's understated. It looks like an out and out competition gun, there's no question. Now, one of the great things, the things that Zoli are very proud of, is they were the first manufacturer in the world to silver solder ribs onto barrels, and because of that, their barrel strength and their barrel longevity is renowned worldwide. There is no question. I've heard this a number of times, that the quality of Zoli barrels is arguably better than anything that comes out, particularly from Italy. Now, this particular gun, we talked about the mid rib. It's a 711 tapered rib with a 11mm step, if you like. And because what you want with a mid rib is you want a Monte Carlo profile, you want that head up position, you want that faster target acquisition, and Zoli have got it absolutely bang on with that. So in terms of the features and the application of this as a mid-rib gun, it's absolutely perfect. We have got 18.6 bore barrels, which is exactly the same as the Kronos, high performance steel shot proofed, and with the Z Sport you actually get titanium chokes. I've been shooting a 1/4 and 3/8 today, and the kills we've had have been spectacular. All Zolis, along with their Italian counterparts, the DT11, the MX8, come with a fully detachable trigger. However, quite a lot of thought has gone into this one. You haven't got to push a bar across so it can't drop out. It's nothing to do with the selector. It is simply an Allen key that goes into the rear of the trigger guard. You unscrew it and take it out. One of the premium features of the Z Sport is that all the components of the trigger are titanium coated, which means they are harder, they will last longer, and inevitably you do actually get a better, crisper trigger pull than you would get with the likes of a Kronos. That said, the Kronos is a much lower priced product. The actual stock itself, and this is where we go back to the whole bespoke customization, you can have whatever you want. This comes as standard with a Monte Carlo with a 14 and 5/8 length of pull, but you can have exactly what you want regardless of your height, your shape, whatever. As I've said before, at the minute you cannot get anything like this in terms of the bespokeness that Zoli offer because of the price point. If you go for a Perazzi, it's going to cost you double the money. To give you a round sort of ballpark figure, you could probably go to Italy and have one of these completely bespoke to your custom specifications in terms of fit, finish, etc., for probably under the price of what you pay for a standard Beretta DT11 on the shelf. So standard on all Zoli Z Sports, you will get a rounded fore end, which is again not dissimilar to something like a DT11 or a Perazzi. Double point checkering. The woodwork grade, of course, can be changed as standard. Zoli don't grade their wood like other manufacturers do. They basically have a grade for the Kronos and a grade for the Z. They also do a Z Extra, which is kind of like an engraved version. There's a Moderner, which looks a bit like a DT11L. And it's one of these things that because they are quite a low level production in terms of a manufacturer, they can offer all of these options. But on top of that, this is a gun that is now seriously competing worldwide. So you've got a great platform to do whatever you want with it. On top of that, here in the UK, you will get a 10-year manufacturer's warranty, which is exceptional. And also, like some manufacturers have done here in the past, like Blaser, like Krieghoff, there's also a service centre whereby if you have the gun service, it extends the warranty even further. Now, the main reason I'm banging on about the Z is because it is a gun that kind of sits at a particular price point, a very competitive price point, which is the sort of £6,000 to £10,000 mark. But for me, if you want that Italian feel in your shotgun, but you don't want to break the bank, then this is a gun you should absolutely be looking at. In terms of balance, Zoli have designed their own between hand balancing system. So what happens is it actually goes in the pistol grip. And this gun, to be fair, at 29.5 inch with factory chokes is absolutely on the hinge pin anyway. However, if you did want a more sort of stock heavy gun, you could utilise that BHB, I think it's called, balancing system in the stock. Now, we're going to move on to the Kronos because, like I said, these guns are completely different price points. The Kronos is kind of entry level. I wouldn't say no frills, but you get a trap version or you get a sporting version, and it sort of comes as is. Majority of them come with adjustable combs. Monte Carlo on the mid rib, on the flat rib, it will be a standard sort of almost parallel, maybe 10, 15, 20 mil of drop on the comb. Normally these come with a hot blued action. The mid rib is quite distinguishable in that it's all matte finish, so matte finish barrels, matte finish action, whatever. And you're getting a lot of the features that you get with the Z, but you're coming in at under £5,000. So this is a gun that's going to compete with the likes of the Beretta 694 DLC, the Browning Ultra XS Pro. But the thing to remember is you don't get that feel in terms of the balance and the poise of an Italian gun that one of these will give you. I don't believe these are quite as customizable as the Z, but having said that, it is a price point, you know, gun with a 10-year warranty, a lot of features. You're still able to choose anywhere from sort of 28 to 34 inch. You can upgrade your wood if you wish. You still get the 10-year warranty. It's still got a detachable trigger. Obviously there's little bits and pieces. It doesn't have the titanium coated internals in the trigger, but I've just been and shot it. Very, very smooth to shoot. This gun weighs £8, 5 ounces. So for the kind of barrel length, it's exactly what you want. It does feel good. It does move well. There's a lot of adjustability here in the comb. I like the beaver tail forend, and like I said, because mid-ribs in particular are gaining in popularity all the time, and this price point sort of sub £5,000, there's not that much choice. If you buy a Guerini Ascent, you're into more money. Probably a Summit Ascent will cost you less, but it's not as good a gun. A Blaser Vantage is going to cost you 9, 10 grand. So Zoli have absolutely covered a lot of bases here with these two models, and I'm sure, I mean, I've got a customer that's just recently been out to Zoli to have a gun custom made, and he's gone for an XL Evo, which is another model which we'll probably look at some point on the channel, whereby they've got removable weights on the side of the action. A lot of technology gone into there. Had a fantastic time, and of course he's come back with a custom fitted gun for not a huge amount of money in the grand scheme of things. And like I said, my shooting experience of both was quite similar. I would say that the Z's definitely got a better trigger pull, although I shot the Kronos better simply because I think the way that the comb was set up, I was sort of overcompensating for the rib at times, which of course you don't need to do. You just need to shoot it, look at the target, pull the trigger. But good trigger pulls, move well, handled nicely. It will be nice to try a 32-inch flat rib maybe next, see how that goes. But overall, really, really nice shooting experience and very impressive. You know, I come from 30 years background in the gun trade, and there's no question that a lot of Zolis have come through my hands during that time. Some not so great from the 80s, but obviously Zoli have pushed and pushed. They've invested in modern technology. They're looking at some big sponsorships with a lot of shooters worldwide now, and they're really, really starting to get their name out there. And it won't be long, I'm sure, again, before you see someone else on the podium with a Zoli in their hands. So as we do with all the gun reviews here at Eastfield Gunroom, we always like to talk about the kind of the cases and the accessories that come with each gun. So what we've got here, we've got the standard blue case for the Kronos, and we've got the much kind of plusher Negrini case for the Z gun. So what we'll do, we'll just have a quick peek inside and see what's going on. So the Kronos case is a Negrini case with combination locks, so if you did want to take it abroad, no problem at all. Inside we have got some blue velour with the famous Zoli, which is a bow and arrow, or certainly a bow logo, and as well as a nice selection of flush fitting chokes with the Kronos. We also get a good quality choke key and a thread cleaner, which is always nice to see. We've got some nice blue barrel and stock socks, adjustable comb Allen key with a lot of spaces, to be fair. You could almost have a game of backgammon with all those. But on top of that, you also get a spares kit. So what you've got with both the guns, they have got V-springs, so you get the very best in terms of very crisp trigger pull. But with the spares kit, you get firing pins, springs, and that's of course the Allen key to remove the trigger. So very, very Perazzi-esque in terms of the accessories and the bits and pieces that are on offer. And if you couple that with a 10-year warranty, it is an impressive package for kind of sub £5,000. Like I said, adjustable comb, various barrel lengths. There's a lot of options, even though you could argue that it's kind of Zoli's base model product. As you would expect with the Z, there's a little bit more going on. We've got this plush, comfortable leather handle. We've got this space age looking silver box with the Z gun logo. So again, it's combination lock, so you can take it abroad. So we open inside, a similar kind of design and plushness in terms of the blue bits and bobs. We do, however, get a stock bolt with this, so you can take the stock off, give it tighten accordingly. And that just kind of shows that this gun is more aimed at the serious competition shooter. You can shoot a lot of cartridges. If I had to put my money on it, I would say the Kronos is more kind of club level, with no disrespect to the Kronos. We get a series of titanium chokes, very, very nicely made chokes with coloured bands around the top and the choke denomination, choke key and thread cleaner. And again, you get the spares kit as well. You'll notice the difference with the Z having the blue springs because of course they are that PVD titanium coated, but you still get the entire spares kit. Now what I have done is I've mentioned quite a few times in this film about the customization possibilities of owning a Z gun. Should you want to buy one with standard dimensions off the shelf, there are lots of options in terms of adjustable comb, fixed comb, barrel length. One thing that I think is very important to mention is that Zoli are pretty much now, certainly at this level, the only manufacturer that will still offer you a fixed choke barrel option. Everyone else, because of steel, has pretty much done away with it. Berettas are now all multi-choke, Brownings are now all multi-choke. The likes of Caesar Guerini, all multi-choke. But there are people that prefer fixed choke guns. They don't like to change chokes. They prefer the weight, the feel, the pointability, the balance, whatever it is. There's a lot of people that still like fixed choke guns, and being able to access one of those on a Zoli, for me, is a big tick in the box. So that's pretty much it. I've had a great time shooting these Zolis, and the one thing I really wanted to kind of put across to you, the viewers, was the fact that if you want something that's at this level in terms of customization, Zoli should absolutely be on your shopping list. Other manufacturers aren't offering the same level of service that they used to be, and I think that's down to time constraints and the fact that they're just absolutely flat out in mass production. But when you choose to support one of the kind of smaller gun makers that's constantly changing things for a particular market and offering all kinds of upgrades and custom specifications, then I think that is where Zoli are going to come up trumps. Certainly here in the UK, they've already shown that their guns are more than capable of winning gold medals. So this is a gun to watch, no doubt. If you've got any questions about either of these guns, anything shotgun or Zoli related, please feel free to contact me directly. Details are on the screen. Don't forget to check out the website, and if you have enjoyed this video, do give us a like and do hit subscribe. Huge thank you to the guys here at Oakedge for allowing us to come down and film, and a massive thanks to Edgar Brothers for sending these Zolis down for us to have a shoot with. I've been suitably impressed. I'm sure you will be too. So from me, Matthew Morgan, the Eastfield Gunroom, and the one to watch, I'll see you next time.